One of the things that had a lot of people talking about after the Xbox E3 press conference on Sunday was the fact that Microsoft and Phil Spencer openly talked about the next Xbox hardware. And today we got a report from Brad Sams saying that basically the next gen Xbox will be here in 2020. What's going on, guys? Randall419, the man with the million, back again with another video. And the topic of next gen always comes up. When's the PS5 coming? When is the Xbox 2 coming? And the consensus is next year or potentially 2020. But this report from Brad Sams says that he has information that basically paints a picture of a family of devices that will be arriving in 2020. So this is what he had to say. This past week, I was tipped off that the next generation Xbox was codenamed Project Scarlet, and in an effort to track down if this information was accurate, I was able to view content that highlighted several unannounced Microsoft products that are coming in the next 2 years. Microsoft is planning for the next Xbox console release to arrive in 2020. But what is more interesting is that Microsoft describes Scarlet as a family of devices, meaning we may see multiple pieces of hardware released that year. The date may seem relatively close considering that the Xbox One X launched last year, but Microsoft is aggressively moving ahead with hardware in the console space to shake up the industry. So that is pretty interesting information. And it is something that I have been thinking about when the next generations of consoles are coming out. And as you guys can see on screen, we have the Halo trailer playing. Now, I am a huge Halo fan, and the one thing that I did take away from this was that it was a game demonstration or a demo demonstration of the new engine they are using. But not only that, but it was also a game that was revealed without a release date. We know that Gears of War 5, which was also announced at the conference, is coming in 2019. There's also some other Microsoft exclusives coming in 2019. You have a new Battletoads game, you have Ori, you have Gears 5, and probably more than likely Forza Motorsport 8. But that Halo, the fact that it's a new engine, the fact that it's probably coming in 2020, speaks that, hey, it's going to be a launch title for this next family of devices, in my opinion. I mean, it'll be 7 years, which fits in almost 100% with how long last generation went. If you remember, the 360 gen went from 2005 to 2013, which was 8 years. And if 2020 is the beginning point of next gen, that'll be 7 years, 2013 to 2020. They almost match up. And I did really get a sense that this E3, even though it was one of the better ones in recent memory, was all setting the stage for the future. The talk about console streaming, some of these games without any release dates is past 2019. I just kind of feel that we're right on the verge of next generation, even with Sony themselves not announcing any really new exclusive, just showcasing the ones that are coming between the next couple years. I feel like they're waiting as well. Now, the family of devices is a pretty interesting concept. We don't know what that possibly could mean. Does it mean it'll be multiple SKUs? Does it mean that they're thinking, hey, I remember Phil saying with the Xbox One X that they had two choices. They could have did a one similar to the PS4 Pro or one that was better than the Pro but would launch a year later. They eventually chose the one that would launch a year later and was better. Maybe they haven't decided yet which one to go after, and they're still kind of weighing the possibilities. Maybe one's a little bit, cheaper hardware with less power. Maybe one's like really good hardware, so it'd be more expensive. Who really knows? And who really knows what shape next generation is going to take? How powerful these machines will be. But there are a few things we probably know for sure. For one, we know that Microsoft will have everything to be backwards compatible. It seems to be a core foundation of the company. They love the fact that you can play pretty much your Xbox 360 games and even some of your OG Xbox games on your Xbox One now, and I would imagine your entire library of Xbox One games will move forward with you. Now, the other big question to think about is forward compatibility. If I get this Xbox 2, will the games releasing for the system, such as potentially Halo 5, would that only be playable on this Xbox 2? Or will there be a version for the Xbox One X? Will there be a version for the Xbox One S? Will there be a version for the OG Xbox? That's a pretty interesting question to think about, because Microsoft has talked about how generations are over, how there are no more generations, and Microsoft's strategy lately seems to be able to play the games wherever you want to play them. So if you want to play Halo 6 on the Xbox 2 at 4K 60 or 8K 80 frames or whatever it would be, then you can do that. If you want to play it on your PC, you can do that. If you want to stream it to your phone, which that cloud gaming division that they talked about at E3 and they built, you can do that. If you want to be able to play Halo 6 or Halo Infinite on the Xbox One X, you can. I think that is their strategy going forward. Some people may disagree, but it seems like Microsoft just wants you to be able to enjoy the content you want on any device, no matter where you are, which might differ from Sony. Sony might be going for their approach of, we'll do backwards compatibility, PlayStation 4 games on PlayStation 5, but our PlayStation 5 games will only be able to be played on PlayStation 5. So there's a lot of questions, and it is interesting that they're openly talking about this. They brought them on stage, or Phil went on stage and talked about it, how they're neck deep, or really deep into architecture of the system. He went on Inside Xbox and talked, frankly, about next generation and how consoles will be important to them. Now, Microsoft and Phil have basically said there is going to be another console. I mean, this is basically going to be true. I know a lot of people out there try to paint the picture that Microsoft is going to be about streaming in the future, but that's not the case. Maybe 10 years from now, but the next Xbox is going to be a next-gen console. I also see some of that worry. It's going to be a powerful console, in my opinion. And maybe it has some other... the family thing is maybe there's two versions. I would guess maybe a really powerful system and then maybe a cheaper one for that's better than the X but not as good. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. It'll be interesting to see what Sony has to say about all this. Who's going to have the more powerful system, because the power talk is always kind of rampant in the beginning of a gen when they show off new things like, oh, who has the more teraflops, who has the better GPU, who has the better CPU, your games are going to run 1 frames per second better over here versus over there. And we haven't really heard much talk about those type of things, the resolutions and of that nature, in quite some time, but it could come back in the beginning of the generation. So I know it's kind of weird to talk about next gen, because there are a lot of other videos I'm making and thinking about, but this one kind of just stood out to me. Like, it's not like, oh, it could be coming in 2020. Brad Sams, who has a good track record, he's basically saying it's coming. I mean, his title of his article is literally Microsoft's next-gen Xbox will arrive in 2020. It's a declarative statement. Not even a question mark, not even nothing. Just basically saying it's coming. What do you guys think about all this? Do you want next-gen to arrive now? Are you sick of this generation already? Are you looking forward to whatever enhancements the next systems will bring? Let me know what you think about all this. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the notification bell so you're always notified when I drop new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a pretty great E3 week. I'm currently kind of watching all this different videos from all these different places about all these games. I wish I could really be there to experience a lot of this stuff, but alas, it wasn't the case. And if you missed any of my previous stuff, if you missed my reactions to Sony's conference, I did a video last night about it. If you missed my video about Microsoft, I did a video about that. Same thing, Square Enix, Bethesda, and Ubisoft. I did a reaction to those as well. So if you want to hear my thoughts on all the press conferences, it is there on the channel. all the different videos and stuff. And we'll be making a ton of more videos going over a ton of different things. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video.